during Michael Jackson's child molestation trial, we learned, according to the prosecution, that the pop star is on the brink of financial ruin. And now, according to reports, Jackson's attorneys are in emergency talks with his creditors to stop the creditors from foreclosing on his personal items after he reportedly defaulted on $270 million worth of loans. At stake, his share in the prized Beatles music catalog and also his Neverland Ranch. According to reports, those items could be seized if Jackson fails to reach a financial agreement with the investment company that owns the loans that, again, Jackson has reportedly defaulted on. Jackson's attorneys are asking for a 6-month extension to work out a payment plan. An unnamed source today in the New York Daily News says it is likely an extension plan will be worked out. So where is Michael Jackson with all this going on? Well, we're not really sure. Since he was acquitted on all child molestation charges, he has been spending time in Bahrain and was recently seen in Dubai, but family members say they're not really sure where he is at the moment. They say they'd like to help and do what they're calling an emergency intervention and help with his financial crisis, but they say they simply can't reach him at this time.
Let me step back for a second. I strongly encouraged Michael Jackson to leave Neverland after he was acquitted. And there was some reluctance there because he created Neverland with a purpose. He loved Neverland. He loved northern Santa Barbara County. He loved where he lived and what it signified for him, the animals, the rides, nature. I mean, you should have been there at night. I mean, Michael had put little lights in various trees, and he would play Disney-like music, and it was so magnificent, and it was all destroyed because of this false prosecution that put him through a nightmare. But I suggested he leave Neverland and not return. I told him he would never be at peace in Neverland because of what had happened. And I also suggested that the Santa Barbara prosecutors and the Santa Barbara sheriffs were humiliated and embarrassed by all the acquittals, and would be gunning for him. And some child might wander through the open fence and they would pin a case on him again. I said, you can't live in peace here. Everything has a time and place. So I didn't know he was going to the Middle East. I didn't know he was going to go to Bahrain till the phone rang at our office, and he and Grace, his nanny, were calling Susan Yu, asking if we would assist transition, because there were ongoing business matters, ongoing lawsuits, issues with everything from animals at Neverland, you name it. So Susan agreed to be his primary general counsel. I actually helped Susan, but she was the one primarily on the phone every day with lawyers in Bahrain and others. So he was there for, I guess, almost a year, and some of the business ventures, he had considered didn't work out. Well, that happened. And then, he moved from Bahrain. But do I see a connection between what happened in Bahrain and the AEG deal? I personally don't, but I don't want to pretend that I know all the details either, because Susan is the one with the detailed knowledge of what went on in Bahrain, not me, and I wasn't involved in the AEG negotiations or transactions. But, Michael, I think, was traumatized in some ways because he had to change his life. He had to leave Neverland, and he had to find a home to replace it, which was very difficult to do. And the poor fellow, in my opinion, lived like a rolling stone for a while. He was in the Middle East. He was in Ireland. He tried England. He went to Las Vegas. The poor fellow was trying to find a new place to ground himself, to call home, because of that nightmare that was created by, the prosecutors and sheriffs in Santa Barbara County. And unfortunately, I don't know if he ever really did find a true home, because he then moved to Los Angeles. He was preparing for the concerts. It was going to be the greatest comeback in entertainment history. And then, then he died. So I don't know if there are connections between some of these attempts to get back into business and find a home for himself. I just see it as all very tragic in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.